Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hajim Zero here, back with another quick movie review. This one, of course, is another classic, but of course, you can't beat the original one. This is House Party 3. It stars, of course, Kid and Play, Bernie Mac, and I am drawn. Oh, well, doesn't really star, but he's in it. Chris Tucker, TLC, a group called Immature with the young Marquise Houston. Some of the other actors that appear in here, I'm drawing a blank on some of their names. Um, the guy that plays Showboat in this movie, which is the guy they borrow money from in the story, he's a known comedian. I think his name is Michael something, and a lot of y'all gonna castrate me because he's a very, very known black comedian. And I even seen some of his stand up. He is a funny dude. And who else is in this? Oh, the chick that played Felicia and Friday, she's in this, and she looks really good without all that hood rat makeup on, and she looks like a completely different person in this film. Tisha Campbell comes back as a cameo. The funny thing, Martin is in this movie. Plays cousin, pretty much fills in his role. They don't even mention, or he's not even mentioned or shown or even spoken of, and it's kind of funny because it seemed like you would think it was a bad apple in the tree, but just behind the scenes at that point, this movie came out in '94. They were doing their own. Martin was doing his own show and his own thing, so it was just kind of weird. AJ Johnson also returns. He was the guy with the Jerry curl in the first movie, and he's in this one he has more lines. He's pretty much like a prisoner with the food business or venue, and he isn't the only character who wasn't named that was in it who came back. Joe Torry is in this as well. He was in the first movie as well. He only had a cameo in the lunchroom, and you didn't see him again. The good speculation with him is probably the same character. He just never said anything. He was just briefly like passing something to somebody, and then you just never saw him. Of course, that can play in full effect. Of course, like I mentioned in Fast and the Furious with Han, it's the same character in Better Luck Tomorrow, and it's been mixed on Justin Lin saying if it was really truly the same character, technically Han's high school life, but back to the main topic. This movie's pretty much again to follow kids and play story, and I like how this one was written. Pretty much it's just him, doing the right thing and being married and being a one woman kind of guy. Because of course in high school and college you want to fuck everything in sight, and even a mutual friend of mine was saying we were young and dumb and full of cum. So even though with me it's kind of different because I still have morality. It's just that, of course, certain lines I won't cross, even though two wrongs don't make a right. And again, I won't talk about that whole thing, at least right now I won't. But it's just pretty much him getting married, and it's a really good, even though it's a comedy movie, it just really sucks that doing the right thing sometimes goes overrated because you can still have, you want to do the right thing, but one, you either tempted or, bad things still happen, so it's just like, damn, like why? And, especially, when they say when you're about to get married, or even if you're in a nice committed relationship with a woman and you want to do things right, and, it leads up to marriage. The thing that I will say is true is that a lot of women want to flock to you. Same thing if you're a woman and you finally get a good man, all of a sudden a lot of men, be eyeballing you and all this, and the tension, and you just like, where were y'all when, I was single? And I just, it always, it's happened to me before, and it was just unbearable. The good thing now, currently right now, I'm talking to two women, and most likely we potentially could have a threesome, but that's a little bit of my personal business. The good thing is that if I tell them about each other, I don't think there's going to be much riff-raff, but, people have needs, some people cope with it differently. Some people have sex. Some people either go to the, you know, do it out physically by jogging or whatever. Some people might do it creatively. There's many different outlets. But back to this movie's pretty funny. It has its moments. It was a lot of good, you know, rising up A-list of stars. I completely forgot that TLC was in this movie when I first watched it, and it was eons ago when I got this. And it was just nice reminiscence of, you know, of course, Lisa Lopez being in the movie and how young she was. And of course, I think this is Chris Tucker's first movie. He had more lines, of course, but I think that's what kind of helped him to get into Friday. I think a year after this movie was made, Friday had came out. And, you know, around all those movies, you know, they of course use similar actors or the same actors. It's pretty much somewhat of creators working with each other, and then not to mention New Line Cinema. And then, of course, with Chris Tucker being there, Bernie Mac from Friday was there, and the guy with the red head, that one who was Red's father, who got knocked out, he's in this movie as well. I think he was the in-law. And of course, you have Vera, which was Felicia. So, you know, it's just nice to see that, you know, all that's like the heyday of, you know, black cinema, where it was very funny before. I think the 2000s that kind of screwed it up just a tad bit. But you know, it just blows that Kid and Play didn't make any other movies outside of House Party and Class Act. You know, the good thing is that they were able to live off of it, you know, financially. They got some gain off of it, and of course, with their, you know, hip hop career, it just blows. I don't hear them doing anything now. And the movie, it was kind of a heavy toll more on Christopher Martin. I think he had broke down on an episode of Unsung. I haven't seen it, but it's just troubling when you see actors who, you know, they're put in the spotlight, they don't know how to, or, you know, superstardom, and they don't know how to react, and it's just overwhelming, and they start doing dumb shit. They either do dumb shit or they emotionally break down, or they usually do both by, you know, doing dumb shit, then emotionally breaking down. But I'm just glad that the brother's still alive. He hasn't killed himself like most of these other Hollywood, you know, A-listers that had a one good hit moment and then they couldn't deal with it. It was a lot of pressure on them. So I'm very happy about that. Pretty much this movie was straightforward, you know, early 90s, you know, the women look really, really good and spot on. You know, nice themes of indirectly of morality, especially with Kid's character. It's pretty much all I have to say. Again, we could talk about in the comments. And I will see you guys on the next review. Peace.